The first and only time I made the basketball team as a young teenager, I broke my leg before we even played our first game. I spent the entire season on the sidelines, cast, crutches, everything. That season taught me one of the most important lessons I've ever learned about goals. Sometimes the goal changes, but often the person you're becoming matters more than whether you reach the original goal. I'm Shalane. I share stories about growth, authenticity, and creating a life that truly feels like yours. I'm an author, speaker, and momentum coach helping people reconnect with themselves and build a life they no longer need to escape from. One of my biggest passions in life is goals. They give us somewhere to go, something to look forward to, and something to put our effort into. I love making the plan, finding the route, figuring out what could go wrong, and working out how I'm going to deal with it. I love problem solving and mapping out different routes to work through the challenges ahead. For as long as I can remember, I have loved hearing about what other people want to do with their life and the steps they are taking to make progress towards that. I find it exhilarating to be in a room with growth-minded people, those that want more for themselves and the world around them. That year that I broke my leg, my goal shifted from being the best I could be at basketball to healing up well enough that I could have a chance to play at least one game that season. I didn't quit the team. Instead, I turned up every practice and game and gave it everything I had. I continued to condition my body with sets of stairs, doing push-ups and crunches, all with one leg. And then when my cast came off and my healed leg was still discolored from the bruising, I continued to do more. By the last game of the season, I was ready to get back in the game. But my coaches said no. I was absolutely devastated. I had worked so hard all season for that moment. I had done everything that was asked of me to heal and get stronger. But my ankle was still weaker, and my coaches didn't want me risking another injury. I cried, I was angry, and I didn't understand why all that work hadn't been enough. But instead of disappearing, I stayed for the game, and I cheered for my teammates even though I was still on the bench. At the end of the year, I received the Most Sportsmanship Player Award. It wasn't the goal that I had started the season with, but I had become someone along the way worthy of something more than getting to shoot a basketball. In that moment, I learned that having a goal and becoming the person capable of achieving it are two very different things. Most people understand that goals take time. When it comes to learning a new skill like basketball, you're not going to make every shot you take, and you will fail far more often than you succeed. We know this. We accept this. We will spend hours upon hours practicing and honing our skills to get better and improve. A coach will never expect you to be as skilled as Michael Jordan at your first practice. They will start you at the very beginning, learning the feel of the ball, learning how to dribble correctly, learning how to position your hand when you shoot a free throw. Coaches build upon your skills, pushing you to reach beyond your comfort zone, but not so far that you don't have a good foundation to fall back on. The same is true of any other skill, whether you're wanting to become a master builder, a heart surgeon, a long-distance runner, a Michelin star chef. You start at the beginning. You fail. You get back up again, and you fail again. But each time you falter, you learn something, and you take that learning and apply it to yourself to try differently next time. Maybe it means trying harder, going faster, or being more focused. Maybe it means adjusting your technique, the positioning of your hand, or how you approach the skill. We understand that learning a new physical skill requires repetition. We understand that we're going to be bad before we're good. We understand that failure is part of the process. But when it comes to our inner work, our personal development, our psychological growth, We often reject this notion that we will fail hard and fail often before we get good at what we want to learn, at who we want to be. We expect to get it right almost immediately. We don't give ourselves permission to be beginners. We try something once and we fail. Instead of thinking, okay, what did that teach me? We think, this is just who I am. We turn a failed attempt at bettering ourselves into our identity. We try one diet and it doesn't work, so we accept we will always be overweight. We attempt to get up when the alarm goes off, but tell ourselves it's too much effort, so we resign to being someone who always hits the snooze. We tell ourselves we will always be someone who avoids confrontation, who is shy at speaking in front of others, who will forever be traumatized by our past. We feel our exercise routines are hopeless, the people in our social circle will always be who they are, and that everything related to personal development is a never-ending uphill battle, so why even try? I've done this with myself. I've told myself I'm not good at advocating for my boundaries, that I may be fit but will always struggle with my weight, that I will always be someone who lives paycheck to paycheck. But imagine if we treated setting boundaries like learning to shoot a free throw, or if we saw getting healthy as a skill we need to learn the same way as dribbling a ball. Nobody expects you to get it right the first time, or even the 20th time. You practice, you miss, you figure out why, you adjust your technique, and you try again. We need to give ourselves permission to practice being the person we know we're capable of. That is why so many New Year's resolutions fizzle out by February or March each year. So many of us abandon our attempts to improve ourselves so quickly. When we experience failure, we interpret it as evidence that we're not disciplined enough, evidence that we don't have what it takes, evidence that this is just who we are. So we stop trying, not necessarily because we no longer want to better ourselves, but because we've decided that our previous attempts have already told us what we're capable of. Here's the thing, they haven't. They've only told us what we've tried so far. Growing ourselves from the inside out is the same process as when we learn a new skill that can be added to our CV. It doesn't matter if you get to day 20 of your 30-day challenge and slip up. It doesn't matter if you step on the scale and realize yet again the numbers have crept up. It doesn't matter if you've told yourself 1,000,000 times you want to improve, yet haven't done so yet. So long as we are willing to learn from ourselves, adjust, and keep trying, we will get there. Everything that has come before us teaches us something we can use as we walk forward. When I look back at Te Araroa, there were so many moments I got it wrong. The wrong turns, the days I gave up before reaching the goal, the miscalculated distances, the choices made that risked my safety, the times I got caught out in bad weather. Every one of those moments gave me information. The trail wasn't teaching me that I was a failure. It was teaching me how I could walk it better. And I think that's what personal growth asks of us too. You're not supposed to know exactly how to become who you know you're capable of. You try, you get it wrong, you learn, you adjust, and you try again. You just need to be willing to continue stepping forward. There's always more than one route up a mountain, and it's up to you to find the one that works for you. If you're ready to stop living small and start building the life that you know you're capable of, follow along, explore my Substack, or learn more about working with me one step at a time.